It doesn't take long to install a RainBird SST smart controller. Before you start, just make sure you have a few things handy. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver, wire strippers, and a hammer. If it's a new irrigation system, you'll also need to get some direct burial valve control wire and watertight splice connectors. Using drywall anchors is optional. There are two major things to consider when you decide where to mount your controller. It needs to be easily accessible, and it should be someplace where it's easy to run wires to your valves and weather sensor. You'll also want to make sure your controller is within 5 feet of an AC outlet if you're using the included power cord, and at least 15 feet from major appliances and air conditioners. Your controller's weather-resistant case also lets you mount it outdoors and plug it into any outdoor electrical outlet. It can be hardwired using conduit too, with assistance from your local building department or a licensed electrical contractor. Drive a screw into the surface where you want to position the top of your controller, leaving a 1/8 inch gap between the head and the wall. Use drywall anchors if necessary. Hang the controller on the exposed screw. Pop off the access cover and drive a screw into the wall through the center hole at the bottom of the controller. If this is a new installation, the next step is to wire up your valves. Start your wiring by cutting a piece of valve control wire long enough to reach from the controller to the valve. Notice that the valve wire has a number of strands inside. The white wire is the one you'll typically connect to one of the common terminals on your controller. Each valve has 2 wires. Connect the common wires from each valve to each other and to the white strand from the valve control wire using watertight splice connectors. Connect the other wire from each valve to a separate strand on the control wire. Back at the controller, insert the white valve control wire into the common terminal. Using a screwdriver tip to push the tab above the terminal makes inserting and removing strands easier. Use the same technique to connect each of the individual zone wires to your controller. You'll use that second common terminal if you have another valve control wire coming from an additional valve manifold. Next, mount your smart weather sensor in an outdoor location that gets the same kind of sun and rain exposure as your landscape. An eave or a pole that has clear exposure to the sun and rain is ideal. Stay away from shady trees that block rain, as well as areas near your roof that could soak the sensor with runoff. A location that's within a 25-foot cable run of your controller will let you use the wire included with your sensor. For greater distances, you can use up to 200 feet of 18 to 20 gauge solid wire appropriate for outdoor use, and purchase separately. Once you've mounted your weather sensor, connect it to your controller. Now you can plug the power cord into the socket. Test the system by turning the dial to each zone and pressing the Water Now button. Check that the zone is watering. Then turn the dial to the next zone and repeat until you've tested all the zones you've connected. If a zone doesn't start watering after a few seconds, check your wiring for open or misplaced connections. That wraps up the installation of your RainBird SST smart controller.